Dear students, today I am going to explain some important NEET questions in the chapter Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plant. But in the part 1 video, I covered NEET questions up to female gametophyte. Rest of the topic will be covered in my next video. Coming to the first question. Which of the following process is necessary for the complete development of male gametophyte? And the options are 1 meiotic cell division and 2 mitotic cell divisions, 1 meiotic cell division and 1 mitotic cell division, 2 meiotic cell divisions and 1 mitotic cell division, 2 mitotic cell division. So look at the question carefully. Which of the following process is necessary for the complete development of male gametophyte? So we should know that how male gametophyte will develop. So we know the process. The pollen mother cell, which has a nucleus here, and that will undergo into meiosis and produces a pollen tetrads. Okay, so 4 pollen grains, that is the microspores, will be formed, and each microspore which undergone into mitosis to produce a gametes. So we know that the pollen grain or microspore which undergone into mitosis 1, the first mitotic division, which leads to the formation of vegetative cell and the generative cell, and this will undergone into second mitotic division. Already the vegetative cell and generative cell is present. This generative cell again which undergone into second mitotic division and forms a 2 male gametes. Okay, so to produce a male gametophyte, there must be a 1 meiotic division and 2 mitotic divisions are required. So the correct answer is 1 meiotic cell division and 2 mitotic cell division. Coming to the second question, it is the assertion and reason based. The assertion is the megaspore mother cell divide mitotically to produce 4 spores, and the reason is megaspore mother cells are diploid and megaspore is a haploid. And the options are both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is a correct explanation for the assertion. Both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not a correct explanation for the assertion. Assertion is false, but reason is true. Both the assertion and reason are false. And look at the question here. The assertion is the megaspore mother cell divide mitotically to produce 4 spores. We know that the megaspore mother cell which produces 4 spores, there is a 4 megaspore, but out of 4 megaspore, 1 will be survive and other 3 will be disintegrate. But here they mention the megaspore mother cell divide mitotically to produce 4 spores. We know that megaspore mother cell, it is a diploid in number and the spores are haploid in a number. The mitosis is an equational division and the meiosis is a reductional division. Here it is a number of chromosome is reduced. So there must be a meiosis, correct? So always megaspore mother cell which produces megaspores through the meiosis, not the mitosis. So the assertion is wrong. And the reason, megaspore mother cells are diploid. Yes, correct. Megaspore mother cells are diploid. Here they mentioned. And the megaspore is a haploid. Here I mentioned the megaspores are haploid. So the reason is correct. And look at the option. The first option itself is wrong. Second is also wrong. And the third is correct. Here they mentioned the assertion is a false. Reason is true. Last option itself is wrong. So the right answer is C. Assertion is false. Reason is true. Coming to the question number 3. Total number of meiotic divisions required for forming 100 grains of wheat is, and the options are 100 times of meiotic division, 75 times of meiotic division, 125 times of meiotic division, 50 times of meiotic division. To understand this question, we should know that how seed will be formed. We know that seed is a result of syngamy, that is a fusion of one microspore and one megaspore. So, to produce 100 seeds, there must be 100 microspore and 100 megaspores are required. And now the question is, how 100 microspores are formed? We know that one pollen mother cell produces 4 pollen grains through the meiosis. So to get 100 pollen grains, 25 pollen mother cells required. So there are 25 times of meiosis. So that indicates to get 100 microspores, there must be a 25 times of meiotic divisions are required. So now coming to the megaspore. But in case of megaspore, mother cell undergoes meiosis and produces 4 megaspore, but only one will be survive. So to get 100 megaspores, 100 megaspore mother cells are required. So 100 times of meiosis. So we know that in case of megasporogenesis, the megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis and produces 4 megaspore, but out of 4 only one will survive and other 3 will be disintegrate. So to produce 100 megaspore, there must be 100 megaspore mother cell follows 100 times of meiosis. So in case of female, that is megaspore, 100 meiotic division, but in case of microspore, 25 times of meiotic division. So together, so there are 125 times of meiotic divisions are required to produce the 100 grains of wheat. The correct option is C. 125 times of meiotic divisions are required. Coming to the question number 4, and it is a match the following question. In a column 1, they given tapetum, exine, pollen kit, vegetative cell, and sporogenous tissue. And in the other side, column 2, they given irregular in shape with abundant food reserve, act as a nutritive layer, thick, rigid protecting layer, involved in the formation of microspores. The last is the oily and sticky layer help in pollination. And the options are given here. So now coming to the first one, tapetum. So we know that tapetum, the wall present in the microsporangia, and they are the nutritive tissue which consists of more than one nucleus. So they may be binucleate or more than 2. So tapetum, they act as a nutritive layer for developing microspores. And next is the exine. The exine consists of thick rigid wall. They're made up of a chemical component called sporopollenin. So the exine is thick rigid protective layer. And the C, pollen kit, their oily and sticky layer help in the pollination. Vegetative cell is irregular shape with abundant food reserve, and they helps for the growth of pollen tubes. And E is a sporogenous tissue. The sporogenous tissue involved in the formation of microspores. You know that sporogenous tissue undergone to mitosis to form the pollen mother cell. Pollen mother cell undergoes meiosis to form the microspores. So E is 4. So the correct option is A. Question number 5. Which one is female gametophyte? And the options are embryo, embryo sac, endosperm, and pistil. To understand this, we should know the structure of megasporangium. So the megasporangium, it is also called ovule. so which consists of female gametophyte called embryo sac. The embryo sac is a female gametophyte that is present in a megasporangium. The female gametophyte which consists of female gamete, that is a egg. So this is a egg, or it is also called female gamete. Female gamete which present inside the female gametophyte. So in the question they asked which is the female gametophyte. So embryo sac is a female gametophyte. So the options are embryo, embryo sac, endosperm, pistil. So the right option is embryo sac. Coming to the question number 6. The mature male gametophyte in angiosperm is represented by, the options are pollen grain, germinating pollen grain, embryo sac, and the option D is a anther. So embryo sac, we know that it is a female gametophyte. So option C itself is wrong. And D is a anther, but anther is a microsporangia, but here they asked male gametophyte. The A is a male gametophyte, but here they mention it is the mature male gametophyte in angiosperm, but pollen grain it's not a mature male gametophyte. The germinating pollen grain is called mature male gametophyte. So option B is right, germinating pollen grain. Coming to the question number 7, tapetum is, option A, parietal in origin, usually the innermost layer of anther wall. B is modified endothecium of anther wall. C is the outermost layer of sporogenous tissue modification. And D is a parietal in origin and is the innermost layer of ovule wall. To understand, we should know how tapetum is formed. So just to go through the image here. So here it is the young anther has a, so this is a young anther, so which has hypodermal cells and they are surrounded by one layer called epidermis. And below the epidermis, some cells are prominent nucleus and then cytoplasm. These are called archisporial cells. And these archisporial cells which undergone to periclinal division. So we know that there are two types of division. One is the periclinal and anticlinal division. The periclinal division means, so the divisions are parallel to the tissues. Anticlinal means divisions right angle to the tissues. But here archisporial cell which undergone into periclinal division and forms the outer parietal cells and inner sporogenous tissues. And this outer parietal cell which undergone to again periclinal and anticlinal division and produces 4 different types of layers, and they are called anther walls. So these are epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, and tapetum. But here epidermis, endothecium, and middle layers are protecting the microsporangia. The tapetum, they act as a nutritive tissue for the developing pollen grains, and they are multinucleated also, means they have more than one nucleus. And tapetum cells also secrete some wish bodies or orbicules which get a coating of sporopollen and helps in the exine formation. And we know that what is exine? Exine is the outermost layer of pollen grains. But here the question is, what is the tapetum? The tapetum, it is the result of periclinal and anticlinal divisions of the parietal cells leads to the formation of tapetum. Along with the tapetum, epidermis, endothecium, and middle layers are formed. So now coming to the options. The parietal in origin, usually the innermost layer of anther wall, modified endothecium of anther wall, outermost layer of sporogenous tissue modification, parietal in origin and is the innermost layer of ovule wall. So look at the option B. Modified endothecium of anther wall is wrong. It is not a modified endothecium. Outermost layer of sporogenous tissue modification. No, it is not outermost layer. So because the tapetum, it is present in the inner layer of the anther. The outermost layer is the epidermis. We know that. The D is a parietal in origin and is the innermost layer of ovule wall. Ovule is a megasporangium, but tapetum present in a microsporangium. So the right option is A, parietal in origin. We know that archisporial cell divides to form parietal and sporogenous tissue. So the tapetum, they arise from parietal cells. Usually they present in innermost of the anther wall. So the right answer is A, parietal in origin, usually the innermost layer of anther wall. Coming to the question number 8, what is the main function of endothecium? The options are mechanical support, B is the nutritive tissue, C is the dehiscence, and D is the none of the above. So we know the structure of microsporangium. They consist of 4 wall layers. Outermost layer is epidermis, and next to the epidermis, endothecium is present, and next to the endothecium, so there are around 2 to 3 layers of middle layers are present, and next to the middle layers, a tapetum is present. The first option, they said it is a mechanical support, but the mechanical support is not only given by the endothecium, it is provided by the epidermis, endothecium, and middle layers. So the first option itself is wrong, and the second option they mention it is the nutritive tissue. The nutritive tissue is given by the tapetal layer for the developing pollen grain, not the endothecium. And the third option it is for the dehiscence. Dehiscence means release of the pollen grains. The release of the pollen grain takes place through the stomium. Here it is one opening called stomium. By the breakdown of the endothecium layer, the pollen grain which releases through the atmosphere. So for the dehiscence, endothecium which will help. So the right answer is dehiscence. Coming to the question number 9. Development of male and female gametophyte is option A in vivo, option B in situ, option C both A and B, and option D is none of the above. So we know that what is in vivo? In vivo means within the organism. In situ means outside the organism. But here the development of male gametophyte. So it takes place both within the organism as well as outside the organism. As you know that in the time of cross pollination, the pollen grain transfers from one plant to another plant, and that will develop in the outside the plant, but that is on the stigma. So the development of male gametophyte take place in vivo as well as in situ. So the answer C is the correct option, both A and B. Coming to the question number 10. A polygonum type of embryo sac is option A 7-celled and 8-nucleate, B 8-celled and 7-nucleate, C 7-celled and 7-nucleate, and the last option is D 8-celled and 8-nucleate. So we know that what is a polygonum type of embryo sac. So there are 90% of the angiosperm, they have a polygonum type of embryo sac, means the embryo sac which consists of 7 cells and 8 nuclear stage. 7 cells means so 3 antipodals, 2 synergids, 1 egg cell and 1 central cell, and 8 nuclear stage means 3 antipodals which consist of 3 nucleus, 2 synergids has 2 nucleus, 1 egg cell consists of 1 nucleus, the central cell consists of 2 nucleus. So there are 8 nuclear stage and 7 cells. This type of embryo sac is called a polygonum type of embryo sac. So the correct option is A, 7-celled 8-nucleate stage. Coming to the 11th question, ovule of an angiosperm is technically equivalent to option A, a megasporangium, B, a megagametangium, C, a microspore, D, a megaspore. So the right option is the megasporangium. Ovule is technically called megasporangium. Coming to the 12th question, which one of the following statement is not true? Coming to the option A, pollen grains of some plants cause severe allergies and bronchial afflictions in some people. B, the flowers pollinated by flies and bats secrete foul odor to attract them. Honey is made by bees by digesting pollen collected from flowers. And the last option is pollen grains are rich in nutrients and they are used in the form of tablets and syrups. Look at the first option. Pollen grains of some plants cause severe allergies and bronchial afflictions in some plants. So in some people, it's correct option because we know that some of the plants like carrot grass, the pollen grains of those plants, they will cause bronchial afflictions and some allergies. The B, the flowers pollinated by flies and bats secrete a foul odor to attract them. It's also correct because of the foul odor, the flies and bats, they will attract towards the flowers. And C, the honey is made by bees by digesting the pollen collected from flowers. Now that honey is made by nectar and pollens. Bees collected pollen and nectar in the spring when most flowers and plants are in bloom. They collect them in their stomach, but the nectar mixes with the protein and enzymes produced by the bees, and which converts the nectar into honey. So honey is made by bees by digesting the pollen grains collected from flowers. It's the wrong statement because honey is made by nectar along with the pollens. So the option C is correct. But look at the last option also. Pollen grains are rich in nutrients and they are used in the form of tablets and syrups. It's a right statement because most of the pollen grain, they are used to prepare the tablets and syrups because of the rich nutrients. So the right answer is C. Honey is made by bees by digesting the pollen collected from flowers. It is a wrong statement. Coming to the 13th question, which one of the following statements is not true? Tapetum helps in the dehiscence of anther. Exine of pollen grain is made up of sporopollenin. Pollen grains of many species cause severe allergies. D. Stored pollen in liquid nitrogen can be used in the crop breeding programs. Look at the first option. Tapetum helps in the dehiscence of anther. So in the earlier question we studied that endothecium, they helps for the dehiscence of anther, not the tapetum. Tapetum which helps for the nutritive tissue for the developing pollen grain. So the option A is the right answer because the statement is wrong. But look at the other option also. B, the exine of pollen grain is made up of sporopollenin. It is the right statement. Pollen grains of many species cause severe allergies. It's also right. Stored pollen in liquid nitrogen, that is a minus 196 degrees Celsius, can be used in the crop breeding programs. It is also right. So the right option is A. Tapetum helps in the dehiscence of anther. Coming to the 14th question, from which stage development of male gametophyte starts? And the options are when pollen is presented within anther. The B is when pollen grain becomes bilayer. And C is when anther dehisces can occur. D is when anther matures. And we know that so there are around 60% of the angiosperms that releases a pollen grain in a two-celled stage, whereas in a 40% of the angiosperm they will release a pollen grain in a three-celled stage. So that indicates the development of the pollen grain. There is a male gametophyte that takes place within the anther itself. So the right option is A, when pollen is presented within the anther. Coming to the 15th question, when pollen tube develops in style, its terminal region will contain vegetative cell, germ cell, pollen mother cell, none of these. So the right option is A, vegetative cell, because it is a nutritive tissue. So the vegetative cell is present in the terminal region of the pollen tube. So the right option is A, vegetative cell. Coming to the question number 16, what is monosporic development? And the options are the A option, process of formation of embryo sac from only one megaspore, B, formation of embryo sac from 4 megaspores, C, 4 single cell and 1 egg cell, D, 3 antipodal cell and 1 egg cell. So here it is one schematic representation how embryo sac will form. So we know that megaspore mother cell which undergone to meiosis form the 4 megaspore, but we studied that out of 4 only 1 will survive and other 3 will disintegrate. So here it is the different types of formation of embryo sac. So there are around 10 different types of formation of embryo sac. Here it is a megaspore mother cell which undergone into megaspore dyad, and megaspore dyad which undergone into second meiotic to form the megaspore tetrad. But in this condition, out of 4 only 1 will survive and other 3 disintegrate, and from this single megaspore 7-celled 8-nuclear stage will form, and this type of embryo sac is called polygonum type of embryo sac, and this is also called monosporic type of embryo sac, because here the embryo sac, the complete embryo sac is developed from single megaspore, because other 3 disintegrate. So it is called monosporic type of embryo sac. Here it is again, it is a monosporic type of embryo sac because from the single megaspore the complete embryo sac is found, but here only 4-celled 4-nucleate. But there may be the chances of out of 4 2 will survive and other 2 will disintegrate. If embryo sac will form from the 2 megaspore, they are called bisporic. If embryo sac will form from the all set of megaspore, that is 4 megaspore, they are called tetrasporic type of embryo sac. But in the question they asked, what is the monosporic? Monosporic means formation of embryo sac from the single megaspore. So the right option is A, process of formation of embryo sac from only 1 megaspore. Coming to the 17th question, and it is the assertion reason based one. The assertion is pollen mother cells are the first male gametophytic cells, and the reason is each pollen mother cell give rise to 4 pollens, and the options are both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is a correct explanation for the assertion. B, both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not a correct explanation for the assertion. C, assertion is false, but reason is true, and D, both the assertion and reason are false. So now coming to the assertion. So here they mentioned pollen mother cells are the first male gametophytic cells, but we know that pollen grain is the first cell of a mature male gametophyte, and that develops into mature male gametophyte through the microgametogenesis. So that pollen grain will become the first cell of the male gametophyte, and later due to the mitotic division inside the pollen protoplast produces the 2 cells, namely the small generative cell and larger vegetative cell, and again the second mitotic division leads to the 2 male gametes in the generative cell. So that assertion is incorrect, or it is a false statement, because here they mention pollen mother cells are the first male gametophytic cell, but the pollen grains are the first cell of the male gametophytic cell. So the assertion is wrong. Coming to the reason, each PMC give rise to 4 pollens. So we know that the pollen mother cell undergoes meiosis and produces a pollen tetrads. So the reason is a correct statement. Each PMC give rise to 4 pollens. So the option C is a correct. Assertion is a false. Reason is true. Coming to the question number 18. How many microspore mother cells are required to produce 1,000 microspores or pollen grains? And the options are 100, 150, 200, 250. So here we know the concept. One microspore mother cell give rise to 4 microspores. But here they asked how many microspore mother cells are required to produce 1,000 microspores. So one microspore mother cell equal to 4 microspore. So 4,000 microspores give rise to how many microspore mother cells? Just cross multiply this 1,000 divided by 4, you will get 250. So the answer is 250. So 250 microspore mother cells are required to produce 1,000 microspores. Coming to the 19th question. Which of the following statement is correct for the pollen tube? A. It shows a chemotactic movement. B. It shows only tip growth. C. It is composed of 3 non-cellular zones. D. It shows radial cytoplasmic streaming. We know that the movement of pollen tube, it depends on the chemical nature, especially based on the calcium gradient. So the option A is the correct. It shows the chemotactic movement. Coming to the question 20, the microscopic structure in flower that contains polar nuclei is option A, only gametophyte, B, pollen tube, C, embryo sac, and D, none of the above. So read the question once again. The microscopic structure in flower that contains polar nuclei. So we know that polar nuclei is present inside the embryo sac. So the right option is C, embryo sac. Coming to the question number 21. Generative cell was destroyed by laser beam, but a normal pollen tube was still formed because. The options are vegetative cell was not damaged, B, contents of killed generative cell stimulate the pollen growth, laser beam stimulate the growth of pollen tube, and the last option is the region of emergence of pollen tube is not damaged. We know that in the development of microspore, the cellular differentiation will lead to the formation of vegetative cell and generative cell, and the generative cell produces 2 male gametes, whereas in a vegetative cell produces the pollen tube. So that helps to deliver the male gametes to the embryo sac. So in the question they mentioned generative cell was destroyed by the laser, but a normal pollen tube was still formed because. Here laser beam applied to the generative cell, and so the generative cell was destroyed, but the vegetative cell still it is ineffective. So vegetative cell can help the formation of normal pollen tube. So the option A is correct because vegetative cell was not damaged here, only the generative cell. So the right answer is A, vegetative cell was not damaged, because we know that the development of pollen tube, it is because of the help of vegetative cell, not the generative cell. Coming to the question number 22. Exine of pollen is formed by activity of. The options are tapetum, B, endothelium, C, middle layers, D, endothecium. So we know that exine, they consist of one strong chemical component, their resistance to enzymes, heat, etc. So they are called sporopollenin. And the sporopollenin is formed by the help of tapetal layer. We know that tapetum, which is present in the surrounding of microsporangia, and they're the nutritive tissue for the developing microspore. At the same time, tapetum, which also secretes some Abitsch bodies, and these Abitsch bodies which help to produce the sporopollenin in the exine wall. So the exine of the pollen wall is formed by the activity of tapetum. So the right answer is tapetum. Coming to the 23rd question, if an angiospermic male plant is diploid and the female plant is tetraploid, the ploidy level of endosperm will be, and the options are haploid, triploid, tetraploid, and pentaploid. Read the question once again. Here they mention the angiospermic male plant is diploid and the female plant is tetraploid. What is the ploidy of the endosperm? So we know that endosperm is the result of double fertilization. So see here, the plant body is the diploid, that is the male is the diploid and female is the tetraploid. The diploid male plant produces a gametes through the meiosis, so the gametes are haploid in nature because the body is a diploid here. Same as in a tetraploid plant, that is a female plant produces a gametes through the meiosis, so the gametes are diploid in condition. Okay, here the parent body is a tetraploid, so the gametes are diploid. So we know that here the female gametes are diploid and the embryo sac, which also consists of polar nuclei, that is a secondary nucleus, so that is also diploid. So together 4 in condition, and along with the fusion of one male gametes, we know that double fertilization, male which consists of 2 gametes, one fuses with the egg cell, another fuses with the polar nuclei. So that leads to what? The polar nuclei is a 2n condition, the female gamete is a 2n condition, along with that one male gamete leads to the 5n condition of endosperm. So the endosperm is pentaploid, option D, pentaploid in condition. Coming to the question number 24. If the haploid number in a flowering plant is a 14, what shall be the number of chromosomes in integuments, antipodal cells, embryo, endosperm, and nucellus respectively? And the options are given here. And read the question once again. If the haploid number in a flowering plant is a 14, means n number of chromosomes is 14, but normally the flowering plant is a diploid in nature, means here the plant has a 28 number of chromosomes. What shall be the number of chromosomes in integument, antipodal, embryo, endosperm, and nucellus? We know that except the gamete, rest of the cells which has a 28 number of chromosomes because it has a diploid set of chromosomes. So now coming to the integuments here, integuments are diploid set of chromosomes, so which has a 28 number of chromosomes. And antipodals are haploid in nature, so which has a 14 number of chromosomes. And embryo, it is the result of the fusion of male and female gametes, which leads to a zygote. Zygote gives rise to embryo, so which has a 2n number of chromosomes, means diploid set of chromosomes, so which leads to the again 28 number of chromosomes. And endosperm, which is the result of the double fertilization, which has a 3n number of chromosomes, 28 plus 14, which leads to the 42 number of chromosomes. And the nucellus is again diploid set of chromosomes, so again which has a 28 number of chromosomes. So the option C is the correct answer. So integument 28, antipodal 14, embryo is the 28, endosperm is a 42, and nucellus is a 28 number of chromosomes. So the answer C. Coming to the 25th question, which of the following is a mismatched pair? And the options are microsporangium pollen sacs, B megasporangium ovule, C microsporophyll stamen, D megasporophyll filament. Okay, the first option, microsporangium pollen sac, it's correct. Megasporangium, it's also called ovule, it's also correct. Microsporophyll is called stamen, it's also correct. Megasporophyll, it's mentioned the filament, but it is the wrong option. Megasporophyll in angiosperm, we call it as the carpels. So here they mention filament, so it is the wrong option, D. It is a mismatched pair, so the answer is D, megasporophyll filament. Okay students, Rest of the topics question will be discussed in my next video. And at the same time, if you want to locate NEET question from the chapter Reproduction in Organism, the link is given in description. Just go through it. Thank you.